This for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and them back roads. Got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo and let's go. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really doubt it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And kinda I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
All right, everybody, welcome to the 440 Sports Show here in Week 8. It has been a heck of a season. We are live on location here at the Crow's Nest. This show is proudly sponsored by Sposito Insurance. Make sure you talk to the Sposito Insurance Group for all of your insurance needs. They will get you taken care of. We can't tell you how appreciative we are of them for sponsoring it and allowing us to bring this on location here at the Crow's Nest. So huge shout out to the Sposito family, to the Detour family as well for hosting us here at the Crow's Nest. And ladies and gentlemen, it is packed down here tonight, but there is still plenty of time to get down here, get you some chili, shrimp cocktails, stromboli. They've got melts, whatever you want to eat, they've got it here, and it is going to be delicious. It's one of my favorite times of the week, not only because I get to interview some of the area's best athletes, but because I get to take part in some of the best food that you're going to get your hands on. Now, let's talk a little bit about the high school football week that we have had. There were some games that came down to the final play of the game. We're going to talk about a couple of them, including our player of the week, who is in large part the reason why the Lakeside Dragons get to turn that CVC Lake record into 1-1 in an absolute thriller. Our week 7 player of the week is a guy that you guys have seen on this network plenty of times, and you've heard me talk about plenty of times. It's the man, the myth, the legend, man. Devin Miller is going to be our player of the week this week. Let's talk about those stats before we get him going. 16 carries, 151 yards, 3 receptions, 109 yards, and 78 of those reception yards came at the biggest moment of the game. Devin Miller, welcome back on the show once again. How are you doing?
I'm good.
So let's go back to this Friday, okay? So it's a Jefferson Lakeside game. 2 teams that neither one of them – can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Is it super loud on you? I can turn it down. All right. 2 teams that, neither one of you guys have had the start that you wanted. You guys started off hot, cooled down. Jefferson started off ice cold and heats up right before you guys got to run into them, coming off of 2 big wins over a undefeated Orange team and then a Conneaut team, another CVC Lake team. You guys go there onto the field. It's homecoming night. The stands are packed. It's loud. Everybody's screaming. What was going through your head when you guys walked through those gates?
Oh, we knew it was going to be a hype game. When we heard that band, we knew. When we saw those people on our way there setting their chairs up, getting ready for all those people driving in, we just knew that it was going to be a packed game.
It was absolutely packed. I'll tell you what, as soon as I got there, I remember when I pulled in, okay? Usually I can get to these games around 30 to 45 minutes early. I'm fine. I got there, and the traffic is all the way back, almost to the license bureau. I said, man, this one is going to be a big. You love to see that. What is it like for you as a player when you go out there and it's just packed and everybody's screaming, whether you're home or away?
Well, away games, I like them, but sometimes – for other people, it can be a distraction. I let that not be a distraction for me. But I always like to see their student section give me talk though.
Yeah, you talk about the student section. There was a little bit of chatter going on, a little bit on both sides. You talk about the transfers and guys going back and forth, and we won't name names directly, but there's been a lot of movement, which I think elicits some of that rivalry in the game. But playing on offense and defense, we're going to go into your offense here in just a minute. But playing on offense and defense, talk to me about what you were expecting going in there as a defensive player.
So on defense, this past week against Jefferson, you could see that I was definitely at corner. I wasn't at linebacker.
So a throwback game for you.
It was something that I'm used to because of previous seasons, but it was something that my body wasn't used to this year because I didn't start there. But it's just something I have to do to help the team out. So if I got to go to where I got to go to help the team, then I'm gonna go there to support my team, make my team better.
So you say you got bumped back to corner this week, and that's one of the cool things about this Lakeside team is the fluidity of you guys as players. You guys have a great junior class. Yourself, Ty Anderson, Jay Anthony. There's a lot of guys in that junior class that are ready to make a difference on the team this year. Tell me what did you focus on moving from that linebacker spot into the corner spot? You haven't played there since last year. What were some of the things that you wanted to make sure you had under your thumb ready to go?
I just knew that one of the faster players in the county, one of the taller, more athletic players in the county. So I knew I had a double threat. So one thing that I wanted to make sure is I let nothing behind me. So I'd rather, like Coach says, panic first and then play slow after. So make sure no one gets behind me. And if they do, then I better hope I can catch up to that, because if not, then Saturday morning's not going to be the greatest time.
Yeah, so, you made a huge play on offense. And, again, we'll get to that offense, but I got to go defense because let's be real. The defense has had some tough outings in the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
But, at the end of that game, playing at the corner position, 3 back-to-back stops against this offense, this quarterback who has thrown for almost 1,400 yards already this year. This receiving core with Terry Brown, whose reach is, I don't even think I could touch his elbow when he puts his hand up. And then you've got Cage Bozar, who's one of the fastest guys in the county, but you guys get it done. What was going through your head at the end of the game? You knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm. So we knew, like, that's what we practiced at the end of at practice. We knew if it was a close game at the end of the game that they were going to throw that ball. So we had to make sure that the flats were good because, as you could tell, they were picking at that screen play. So we just made sure when we saw trips on one side or we saw Terry go deep that we made sure that we had to stay on that because we can't let neither of them behind us.
What was the communication like in the huddle?
So most of the time it was like whenever we would have a corner on one side or the other side or the safety, we just had to make sure that we kept talking because previous games, our talk's been a little low, especially against like teams like Hawken who were nitpicking at our defense or Madison. But recently we've been talking, communicating more as a team, and that definitely helped a lot more.
Yeah, and you weren't the only change this week. Also, I believe Czar Triplin gets pushed back from corner to the free safety position. So there was a lot of change going on there. How was that difficult for you guys to kind of wrap your head around, or what was practice like last week with you guys making all these changes?
So practice was definitely a lot more disciplined. So like moving from one spot to another, that you can't make any mistakes, because if you make a mistake during practice, you only got 4 days until it's that Friday. And if you make that mistake that Friday, there's nothing you can really do about that, but except for the next drive, you just got to come out and do what you got to. Don't let that happen again.
Now, listen, we get to listen to Coach Terry Hinton every Wednesday on the Los Compadres show. You've gotten to partake in that show. It's a great show, great place to eat.
Yeah.
I never hear Terry raise his voice. So what happens when you guys make mistakes out there? Does he yell?
Does he?
So that must be why he's so soft-spoken for the rest of the week. He uses all the yelling during the practice. But you talked about mistakes and I told you before we started, I get to press you a little bit. I've known you a little bit longer, so I can ask you some of these tough questions. One of the mistakes that you had to deal with is the F word that no running back wants to hear. No running back wants to be a part of. the big fumble. So, the fumble comes at a big part of the game. How did you dust yourself off and get ready to make the biggest play of the game?
So after that fumble, I just knew I had to get our defense together, because as soon as that happened, I just knew that we needed to talk, we needed to communicate, we needed to worry about our spots more than each other's spots. We needed to, if one person made a mistake, we had to make sure that we didn't dig into them, so then they wouldn't be like, okay, this is my fault, this is my fault. And I didn't blame it on nobody, didn't blame it on my quarterback, nobody, nothing. It was just something bad that I made a mistake of, in which that definitely brought a little bit more aggression out on the field on offense when we got that ball back.
When they took the ball, you're telling me you were trying to take it right back?
Yeah.
So, again, you guys go out there on the defensive side, you get it done. Now the ball's back in your hand. You guys are sitting right around 2 minutes. You're down.
Yeah.
You guys are down. You have a chance to tie the ball game at this point. First pass is almost disastrous.
Yes.
And then you guys get another shot at it. When that ball is coming, is it like a movie? Is it slow motion as it's coming into your hand? What is going on?
So just especially on that play, it was obviously a screen play. So when I'm coming up, I see that their safety tells their outside linebacker that he knows that what the play is. So when I'm coming up, I just take a picture of what I see. And then as soon as I take that picture and I turn around and look for that ball, I just got to memorize where this guy was at. And I saw him coming from my inside. So I scooched out to the right, and props to Omar. I'm so glad that he saw it, because as soon as I scooched out to the right, I saw the ball hit my right side, which automatically let me turn faster than what if I caught it here, I have to turn this way. So as soon as that happened, I knew that I had some time to go ahead. And then props to Zion, man. A lot of people didn't see that, but if he didn't pick up that block and I couldn't get to that outside, who knows? I would have been down 40 yards away from that end zone.
That's another one of those things. It's really easy to kind of focus on Devin Miller's portion of that play. There was some good blocking there. You broke some tackles.
Yeah.
There was a little left and right in you. You were using the joystick, but you get out in front of people. And how much confidence do you have when you're out in front?
Oh, I like those corners. Once I get past those linebackers, I'll take those corners any day of the week. So, I knew Cage. He's not a bad player. I know he knows how to break down. So, as soon as I got to him, I knew if I get past him, then I could just press that button and speed up. And as soon as I got past him and hit that middle and saw that gap there, I just held on to that button and did not let go until I got in the end zone.
That's absolutely. I'll tell you what. It's one of the things that we've seen. Even earlier in the game, the first touchdown, to be exact, actually is by you. It's not a sweep. It's not off tackle. You guys go right up the gut and you shoot out of there like a cannon. What was going on that play?
So something that our props to my line, because they're beginning of the year they were getting some harsh about it, but we've definitely picked up a lot. The line has been doing a lot actually recently. So as soon as I saw them pick up their linebacker, pick up that line, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Felix. But as soon as he moved up to the next level and I saw a little bit of grass to the right, and I saw it and I just did not slow down. I saw someone to my right and I was like, if I just stay right here in the middle, I'm pretty sure I can just get straight through. And I just sped up a little bit, saw grass, and just kept going.
Yeah, you ran, when that hole opened up, you ran like you had a baton in your hand, not even a football. It was like a track race. It was really, really something to see. And let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff you do in the off season. Anything during the winter. I know during the spring you run track, but anything during the winter?
Winter, no, not mainly workout. That's mainly what I do during the winter. Just take it more of a resting time. Getting off of a really physical sport, letting my body heal up. Just covering up all those sores and everything I got, building up that muscle a little bit.
Yeah, and you talk about the gym and you talk about the lifting schedule that you've been on, and I think one of the things that's very apparent, if anybody wants to watch the interview of you last year, is there's a little bit more of you this year. So, talk about that off-season lifting program, because I like to joke with, I know your family for years that, Devin's starting to he's almost bigger than Dad now.
Yeah, so this year that definitely during the winter we've been I've been working out a lot more. I wasn't like the most consistent, but I was getting in there 2 to 3 times a day. And then once that warmer conditioning started, I wouldn't really say like warmer, but more like January, February. That's when the team got together more. When we were inside the school, that's when we really started become a team, because we had some players from the younger level come up that were like really small compared to everybody
Sure.
else, and everybody was just like, oh, how do you guys work out, how do you guys get this strong, what do you guys do for your speed? And it's just, Coach Terry, he's a track coach and
Yeah.
then he's a football coach, so that helped a lot, definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about track. I think it's very easy to figure out that the track is going to help you with speed, right? But I think there are some other things that may, cross over from running track. And it's something that you've excelled at and that you've been doing since your junior high days, even. Talk about what in track kind of crosses over into football and helps you become the guy who you are.
Well, a lot of people understand like acceleration, top end speed, but something that I could definitely tell about track is when you're running in like the 100 to 200, even any race, whenever there's someone close to you, you can just feel their energy, whether or not you're going to speed up, you're going to get faster than them or be slower than them. So I feel like something that track's done a lot is going against these guys that are a lot faster or a little bit faster than you. You're able to understand whether or not you're faster than these guys on the field or off the field, and I feel like that's what helps a lot.
Yeah, you kids say aura, right? It's about the aura. So, you guys have got a big game coming up this week against a very, very tough team in the Geneva Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you're looking to make sure you get done, and what are some things that you're getting ready for?
We know they're a really physical team. They run a lot. That's one thing.
Geneva runs?
Yeah, that's one of the main things we know is they got a really strong core, that running back core, even their quarterback. But it's just one of those teams that you can't sleep on the receivers either.
Yeah.
So you gotta be patient. You gotta understand. You gotta watch. There's a lot of motions going on. It's just something you got to be disciplined on. And it's one of those games you can't wait till Friday to understand what you're doing. So Monday through Thursday, you just got to be a film junkie. Film whenever you can, whenever you're at home, whenever you're getting out the shower, doing whatever you can just to be able to watch who you're going against and what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things this year that's been a surprise. Obviously, we don't get too much Geneva coverage on here, but I think they've passed the ball much more effectively this year than in years past. And when you've got a team that can run the ball so well like they do, it's just another one on top of it.
Yeah.
But, what are some things that Devin Miller, has to get done on Friday if the Lakeside Dragons are going to get the upset?
Something I definitely got to be patient, because I know my line isn't. They're not the same size. They're a little bit smaller, but I believe in my line. And once I'm able to get past that line, I just got to understand that these guys, they might have a good record, but they're one of those teams that have a good record and still want that record to go higher and higher. So it's just one of those teams that you got to understand they're not slow. They definitely work out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people expect Geneva to be slower than they are, but they can run. Those boys, they've got some speed, they've got the power. But do you think maybe you got some more speed than what they've got going?
Just a little bit.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Final question, Devin, is when you've still got a whole nother year of football, you've still got plenty of time to play football. But when people are looking at Devin Miller play football, what are some of the things you're hoping that they're seeing?
A little, a lot of people say that they see my dad in me. So that's one. That's
a big
that's
a big compliment, because your dad could play some football.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of things that most people say is they see speed, they see a little bit strength compared. But I'm not really a shifty back. I'll take more of a north back. I'll be more of a forward back. But yeah, most of the time that I get a lot is people talk about, oh, he reminds me of your father. Your father, you remind me of your dad. So that's a big accomplishment to have. Big Nah, I don't know if I'm there yet, or I will be there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You're part of a very, very talented backfield, and Jay Anthony, who is a fellow junior, and Nate Bartone. I think all of you guys are very good running backs, but you guys all have a different skill set. How do you guys mesh that together?
So what a lot of teams have picked up on is when Nate comes in, where the ball's going.
The Bartone zone, baby.
Yeah, and when me and Jay are in the backfield, that's when a lot of teams get a little bit more confused because, both of us like the outside, both of us like the inside, so we just nitpick at a lot of teams. Or like a lot of teams, when Nate comes in, they'll just expect it to be up the middle 100% of the time. But they don't know that boy can move a little bit. He can use them joysticks a little bit too.
He can, and you know what? The funny thing is, Nate Bartone is the sole owner of the interception this year. Mm-hmm. So the buddy can catch a little bit as well. All right. Well, you know what? Good luck this weekend or this Friday as you guys get ready to take on the Geneva Eagles. It's going to be a great game. You're not going to have to miss a moment of it. It's going to be right here on your home for high school sports, YSN Live. This week's player of the week is the man himself, Devin Miller. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
The feeling when my hands are on the piano, it's become comforting. It's somewhere that I can express myself. I go to Youngstown State University and my passion is playing music. YSU is allowing me to take what I love and turn it into a career and do it every single day of my life. I'm Alyssa, and I'm YN proud.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
All right, everybody, we are back as we get ready to go through some of the stats and through some of the results from last week's game. Before we get going too quickly, I want to introduce, we have a brand new award on ysnlive.com. It's the Vantage Financial Play of the Week. Now, this is going to be an award that you can vote on. and you can vote on as many times as you want to. Now, I do want to explain to you guys, this is an award that if you want one of your players to win, you are going to have to vote and vote a lot. I am going to bring it in live on air to show you guys how to do it. Let me get that in here right now. See if it made its way to, okay, I'm going to bring it on screen. So you are going to go to ysnlive.com/POW, which is Play of the Week. So let's bring that onto the show right now. All right. And I'm going to navigate you guys through it. All right. So at the top here, you can see where it says ysnlive.com/Play of the Week. Now, you're going to go through here. Oh, excuse me. You're going to go through here, and there's going to be 6 different choices for this week's Play of the Week. You have Cage Bozar from Jefferson, his kickoff return to start the game. You've got Liaison from Ursuline, another 80-yard kick return. Tyrell Watkins from Wellsville, an 80-yard kick return. Jaden Taylor from McDonald's, a 60-yard rushing touchdown. Taylor Johnson from Beaver Local on the 2-point conversion. And then you've got Devin Miller, our player of the week, his 78-yard receiving touchdown. It's really, really easy to vote. You're going to click. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to vote for both Ashtabula guys right now live on the air. So we're going to click Cage Bozar's name. We're going to hit vote. And it's going to show you there have already been, this has only been live since last night. There have already been 18,808 votes. If you want your player to win this one, you are going to have to vote and vote often. I'm going to hit refresh here, if it lets me. And it's going to bring it up again. So now I'm going to show you, we're going to vote for Devin Miller. Both the Ashtabula guys are going to get my vote on this one. I'm going to hit vote. And as you can see, 18,809 right there. So again, it's very, very simple. You're going to go to ysnlive.com/Play of the Week. And just in case you guys want to be able to see the plays of the week that are up for grabs this week, I'm going to show them right here on the show. It's a great put together here by ysnlive.com. I'll tell you what, folks, I'm going to put this out there. It's going to be a challenge, okay? I'm going to lay out a challenge. Ashtabula as a whole. We have been on here for Big Dog of the Week numerous times. We have one winner in 2 years. You have to get out. We have to vote. Sometimes you got to put your school rivalry aside. You got to get out there. We've got to vote. We have 2 different Ashtabula kids who are going to have a chance to win this Play of the Week. We need to, as Ashtabula, as a county, as an area, we have to get out and vote. Let's make a change right here on YSN Live. Show that Ashtabula is here for the kids. All right, let's bring up the plays of the week right now.
This week's YSN Plays of the Week are brought to you by Vantage Financial, your partner, your success.
And it's time to get this football game started.
We are underway, and it's right up the middle. It's grabbed by Cage Bozar,
and
he's got the outside edge.
He's got room already. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. Gets around another one. And guess what, folks? We're going to start this one off with a 35-yard kickoff return. How about that for a Falcon homecoming?
Wow. Well designed. Return left. The wall was set up, and Bozar hit the corner and never looked back.
And then touchdown pass 5 yards out from Farrell Daylog. Jet sweep, handoff to Jaquise Liaison. Liaison's got some room. He's looking for the edge. He has the edge. Liaison down the sideline, and I don't think anyone's going to catch him. Touchdown. It's a touchdown, Ursuline. Ursuline, 4 plays, 2 scores. Jaquise Liaison, he got the edge, and he was shot out of a cannon. There's no flags, and Ursuline up to a 12-0 lead just like that.
Zach Chanel is kicking things off. Kick is up, and it's going to bounce and be taken at the 20, to the 25 to 30. It's Watkins. He's off to the 40. He's got nobody near him. He's going to the end zone. Tyrell Watkins untouched into the end zone. No flags. Tigers lead 14-7, have had 1 play on offense.
So here we go, 1st and 10, 40-yard line for the Blue Devils. And
and they're going to run the ball here. Keep on the ground and find some space here. Lowers the shoulder. He's still on his feet somehow. And running along the right sideline, still on his feet. And a 60-yard touchdown here. And how about Jaden Taylor that time? His first time touching the ball in this one. He takes it all the way to the house to give McDonald a 3-score lead.
Timmy Potts lines up under center. Brody Brown behind him. He'll go for a QB sneak. Oh, he had some room. He's got a lot of room. He went up the middle. He's down to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Southern.
And just like that, Timmy Potts goes the distance.
Just a QB sneak right up the middle. Nobody was there to meet him. He is in for the Southern local score.
Caleb Mays on for the extra point to make it 38-31. And what a start to overtime. Beavers in 2 plays. First play, they run a reverse pass. Zaven Riley to Kane Curran for 21 yards, and then a 4-yard rushing touchdown by Wade Foster. Bad snap. Johnston was the holder. He's going to roll left and just fire it to the end zone. He has a man, and it's caught! Unreal! A bad snap. Johnston catches it, rolls left, and fires off his back foot of prayer. The freshman Peyton Cowdery is there to catch it for the 2.
All right, they got it off, and it's Devin Miller. He's going. Another guy missed him. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. Lakeside Dragons just pulled out 80 or 78 yards to Devin Miller.
No flags on the play. Touchdown, Lakeside.
All right, everybody. Once again, a shout out to Vantage Financial for sponsoring that award. Again, this is an award that is available to YSN athletes across the entire network. So again, Ashtabula, if you want Ashtabula athletes to stand out, you have to get out there and vote. And you go on ysnlive.com/POW. Pow! Is all you got to do. Make sure you're refreshing and voting for these kids. We got to give them a chance. We've had some guys out here from Ashtabula. Our lone county winner in any voted category is Ty Vickery out of PV. So if they can do it, so can you. Make sure you're getting out there and voting over on ysnlive.com. Now we got to talk about the part that has become my favorite as well as the most talked about part of the show every week. It is Ashtabula County YSN Live Stat Leaders. All right, everybody. So we're going to start off like we always do. We're going to talk about the passing leaders here in the county. And leading the way is Jefferson's Dylan Burlingham with 1,309 yards passing. He spatters that on with 10 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. Dylan Burlingham is having an incredible season under center, in the gun, wherever the Jefferson Falcons need him. He is getting it done. 1,300 yards with 3 games left in the season. This kid is knocking on record's door. It's incredible to watch. Omar Ambris makes a jump this week from 4th place to 3rd place. He has got 821 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for the Lakeside Dragon quarterback. Colby Stittner at Conneaut, he's got 678 yards, 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, makes it tough for him this year. Sammy Goforth from Grand Valley is another one who makes a huge jump this week. The young man had 5 touchdowns against Matthews, 4 in the air, 620 yards for that young man, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Edgewood's Nate Stewart still leading the Warriors in the passing category with 577 yards. 5 interceptions, 5 touchdowns for him. Vin Narducci comes in next with 435 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And Ryan Croston over at PV, he's been throwing the ball a little bit more than PV normally does. He's got 432 yards. Let's talk about the rushing leaders, and the top 2 are from the same school. Ryan Croston, 104 carries, 1,026 yards, 8 touchdowns for the PV quarterback, folks. He's got running capabilities. It's shown week in, week out. And right behind him is the running back for the PV Lakers with 805 yards, 11 touchdowns. Between Croston and Vickery, over almost 1,900 yards and 19 touchdowns between those two guys. It's one of the nastiest backfields in all of the county. Coming in next is going to be Andrew Saltis out of Grand Valley, 134 carries. He's got 678 yards. Matthew Webby from Jefferson, 625 yards, 8 touchdowns. Isaiah Bowles from Conneaut with 109 carries, 597 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ryan Williams from St. John, who has taken on the lion's share of the carries, 530 yards. J. Anthony Williams comes in next with 469 yards, 3 touchdowns. And behind him, another Dragon, and Devin Miller. He's got 50 carries, 454 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now, we talk about that PV backfield, and it's incredible. The Lakeside backfield is equally as good. You've got 3 guys back there. All 3 of them can make big plays at different times. All right, moving over to the receiving leaders this week. It's Cage Bozar right now. And I'll be honest with you, folks, I don't know if anybody is going to catch up to this young man this year. 44 receptions, 688 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns. He is an air assault. He is unbelievable out there. When he catches the ball, he's able to stretch out the plays. His yards after catch is incredible. Behind him is the lineman turned tight end in Ryan Turner with 31 receptions, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns for the Conneaut Spartan. Devin Miller making his name known in the receiving game. He's got 16 receptions, 329 yards, 4 touchdowns. Devin Salinas from Jefferson comes in next, 23 receptions, 311 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Terry Brown, who had a pretty big game against Lakeside as well, grabbing some additional receptions, 17 receptions on the year. He's got 298 yards and 1 touchdown. And then J. Anthony Williams, Jaws, over at Lakeside, 13 receptions, 262 yards and 2 touchdowns. As we move on, we're going to move over to the tackles. Now, I'll bring this up like I do every single week, folks, the way tackles are calculated on this show. A solo tackle is worth 1 point. An assist is worth half of a point. If you have a TFL, that's another point. A sack is worth another point. All that combined brings you a total tackle number. That's why our numbers are a little bit different than maybe some of the things that you're going to see. But here are your tackle leaders. As of right now, we are still missing statistics for a couple teams in the area. So these numbers will most likely change by the time we do our official release on Thursday. Your tackle leader as it stands is Conneaut's Josh Sabo. He's got 59.5 tackles. Coming up behind him is Denver Kessler with 59 tackles at Edgewood. Tyree Anderson, Big 6, as they call the young man, with 58.5 tackles. Right behind Ty is another Dragon, and J. Anthony Williams with 52. Andrew Soltis with the Grand Valley Mustangs, who got their first win of the year. Congratulations to the Mustangs as they win the Battle of the Mustangs, and we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. He's got 51.5 tackles. Michael Ochoa, he's got 50 tackles for the Edgewood Warriors. Coming up next is going to be Will Anderson for the St. John Heralds. He's got 48.5 tackles. Right behind him, Conneaut, Ryan Turner with 48 tackles. Grayson Petros, who comes onto this list with 46 tackles. And what's more impressive than the total tackle for this young man is the tackle for loss, which will be released on Thursday. This young man has 13.5 TFLs, and he may have more. We're still getting numbers as it stands right now. And then Ryan Croston from PV with 45.5 tackles. incredible numbers as we are through 7 weeks of football right here in the county. It has been an incredible season as we are in week 8, and now we are starting to separate. We have some teams that are very, very much alive in their playoffs, and some teams that all they have left is conference play and pride. It's going to be an interesting next couple weeks, and we're going to talk about some of the results from the games this week. Starting off, we're going to go with the game that I got a chance to cover with Scott Demos. It was the Lakeside Dragons versus the Jefferson Falcons, 21-20. And the score in that game really does reflect how tight that game was from pillar to post. From an opening kickoff return for a touchdown to a final in the final 2 minutes, a 78-yard touchdown to put them in the lead. They had to rely on Nate Bartone to be able to get the 2-point conversion as they were down in this one. Even after scoring that 78-yard touchdown, it was 19-20. It was a big call. It was a big-time call for Coach Terry Henton to trust in Nate Bartone, who had been stopped already in this game a couple times by this Jefferson defense. They came out, they were playing stout football, this defense. And Nate Bartone answers the call in the Bartone zone. The 2-point conversion is good. They go up by 1. It's 21-20. The final 3 plays in this game were as high intensity, high stress as they get. 3 throws into the end zone, 3 post corners, 3 stops, 3 bataways, and 1 knocked out of bounds. It was an incredible game. I highly recommend you guys go back and check that one out on ysnlive.com. It's in the archives. It's really worth the watch. If you love high school football, it doesn't get much better than that one. The Edgewood Warriors, they fall to the Madison Blue Streaks, 42-7. Madison is in line right now to truly challenge for this CVC Lake Division title. It's going to be an interesting game. As they line up against Geneva. It'll be interesting to see who's going to have the upper hand. I know Madison's got a quarterback that can throw the ball all over the field. Edgewood, changes happening within the team. They're still trying to kind of find their identity, find who they are, land on where they want to be offensively. Defensively had a tough night on Friday night, but they're going to be looking to bounce back this week against Conneaut. Conneaut goes out there and they lose to Geneva. This one is tough. 75-6 is the final in that one. It was 68-0 at halftime. Geneva is a well-oiled machine. They run the ball well. They pass the ball well. And what is not talked about enough about them is their defense. Defense able to cause some turnovers in the early part of this game and really bump those scoring numbers up. Conneaut had a tough outing. Shout out to those kids for continuing to go all the way until the clock read 0. The next game is going to be Windham and St. John, and we're going to go through some highlights from that game. An absolute heartbreaker is how I would describe that one. It comes down to overtime. You've got a 1-4 St. John Heralds going against an undefeated Windham team. St. John goes into halftime in this one with the lead, leading this one 20-12. At the end, a couple really, really tough plays get away from them, and we'll show them right here. Motion as they hand it off to and he's going to truck forward good for a 1-yard touchdown as the Bombers are going to strike first in this one. As is going to go into the sweep, the jet sweep, and he is going to be taken down short. It's a Herald stop. And that one is going to hold, and the Heralds have tied this one here at 2:56. Man in motion, takes it, it's a reverse, coming to the other side, gets around 1 tackle, around a second, he's down the sideline, he's got some room. Good for the touchdown. And there it is, Ryan Williams. And they're gonna cross the line. Gonna be a direct snap to He's looking for the corner. And he's still up and he's still going, breaking another tackle all the way downfield. And just like that, they're going to score. This time it's going to be another direct snap going to the corner, and they found it again. Huge gain on that one. And Narducci with a pass. He's got Chase Newsome. Newsome, he's open at the 10. He's in for the touchdown. Snap is back. He's got a man and he's taken down, and that's not good. Narducci back in the gun. Calls for it. The pass is up. He falls down. He slipped. They ran a reverse, and the stop is made. Man in motion. They hand it off to I. He's fighting forward. He's in. Good for the touchdown in overtime. As you can see, that one ends on an absolute heartbreaker. The St. John Heralds, going into this one against an undefeated team, I don't think very many people gave them a chance. They went out there and they did everything that you have to do to win that game. Wyndham keeps their undefeated streak alive. I'll tell you what, Jack I, who is the running back for the Wyndham Bombers, he's a phenomenal player. He is a phenomenal player. He went out there, he showed his talents, the ability to get out there and score. 275-yard rushes for touchdowns will tell you that he's a talented player. I think what was most impressive to me in that game as the lead broadcaster for the St. John Heralds was this defense's ability to get him stopped most of the time. Those are two big plays that he makes in that one. And they did change the game, but this was a Heralds defense that really stepped up, and it was nice to see the Heralds passing game to get back going. Vin Narducci with a big 74-yard touchdown to Chase Newsome. It made a difference in the game, and what people don't know is that touchdown ties the ball game. That's what leads to overtime. They don't get much bigger than that. St. John's got some big games coming up, and I can't wait to call them. It's going to be a fun rest of the year. The Grand Valley Mustangs go out 44-8. They get a win over the Matthews Mustangs, and Grand Valley takes ownership of who are the true Mustangs in this one. Sammy Goforth, 4 touchdowns in this one, over 250 yards passing on just 7 passes. It was a great game for the Grand Valley Mustangs. It was awesome to see them go out there and get that first win of the year. And now the Mustangs have a little bit of swagger going into the rest of the season. The Pymatuning Valley Lakers go out there and they do what PV does, and that's run the ball well, and their defense keeps you out of the end zone. Final score in that one, 38-0 as they get past the Fairport Skippers. And then finally, Perry. The Perry Pirates go out, and I think this was one that may have surprised some people. 62-0 over Orange, as both Perry and Orange go into this game 5-1. But Perry is a machine. Walter Moses is one of the most, if not the most talented quarterback on the network this year. He went out there and did what he does, throws the ball all over the field, throws it with airstrike precision, and the Perry Pirates continue with their one-loss season, with that one loss coming to Kirtland in triple overtime. All right, everybody, coming up this week, some of your games that are going to be on ysnlive.com. Lakeside versus Geneva. Geneva will be coming to Lakeside for this one. 2-5 Lakeside versus a 6-1 Geneva. This is a very interesting game. I think if you look at the records, a lot of people are already throwing this one out the window, saying that Geneva's going to come in there and just dominate them from pillar to post. I think this is going to be a lot closer than you think. I think that Lakeside's got some athletes that are going to be able to make some plays. What they are going to have to do is try to get Geneva uncomfortable. They're going to have to get Geneva out of their comfort zone and make them make some mistakes. If Geneva goes in there and you allow them to play mistake-free football, this is going to be all Geneva Eagles. The Edgewood Warriors taking on Conneaut in the county's oldest rivalry in this one. 1-6 versus 1-6. Somebody is looking to get out of their losing streak. Will it be Edgewood? Will it be Conneaut? If you follow Instagram, I'll tell you what, the chitter chatter has been going 4 days. This is going to be one you don't want to miss. You're going to get to hear Larry Jennings and Matt Jarvie from WOW TV. It'll be Larry Jennings on the primary on this call. It's going to be a fun one. You don't want to miss it. Jefferson going into Madison. This is another game, folks. I think everybody's very quickly putting Jefferson out of this game. I think everybody is forgetting the amount of talent that Jefferson has. Dylan Burlingham is an elite quarterback. He has shown that all year long. Terry Brown is a deep threat that not many people are going to be able to cover. Cage Bozar has shown he can make big plays against the best of the best. I think Jefferson is a team that you need to watch for in this one. St. John and Fairport, it's going to be at Fairport for this one. It's an NAC rivalry game. You're not going to want to miss that one. I'm going to have the chance to be on the call for that one. Both of these teams, I mean, it's Michigan and Ohio State. It's Cleveland and Pittsburgh. They don't like each other. It's going to be a fun game. Can't wait to watch this one. St. John, they need to win this one if they want any chance at making the playoffs. They got to go out and take this one. Grand Valley heading down to Rootstown. I think Grand Valley's got, like I said, they've got some swagger after beating this Matthews team. The Rovers are a team that I think that they match up well with, and you can see the Grand Valley Mustangs going down there and really causing a ruckus. Pymatuning Valley heading over to Matthews. I think PV, as long as they keep their eyes on the prize and don't start looking past Matthews, I think PV can take this one. And then you've got Perry going against Harvey. This is going to be a fun game to watch because it's the elite Walter Moses going against the elite Scotty Alston. Or excuse me, Sean Alston. Two elite players meeting on one. This is a trademark win for Harvey if they can get past Perry on this one. Perry is not looking past them. Perry is looking to make sure that they are the number 1 or number 2 seed in their division. Big time football this week on the network. It's all going to be here on YSN Live. Pay attention. We'll let you know. We do have I want to wish our Grand Valley announcer Tyler Hartz the best wishes as he will be taking his talents to Virginia this week. Tyler's been with us here at the company for almost 2 years and has gotten an opportunity in broadcasting down in Virginia. So he will be taking off this week, and we will be looking for some new announcers to join the team, particularly in the Orwell area. Tyler Hartz did just a phenomenal job, and that's why he's going to be going and continuing his career. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for all of the time, the effort, and everything you've done for Grand Valley. Everything is appreciated. We wish you the very, very best. With that being said, we're going to be moving announcers around. I don't know that every game, including the Grand Valley, is going to get covered all the way down in Rootstown, but you will know by the end of the week. I'll tell you what, we are going to end the show a little bit differently, I think, tonight with something I'm going to call our final thought. So, you know, this week over the weekend was Coach's Day. And I have gotten the distinct honor and privilege of working very closely with coaches over the last couple of years, coaches, athletic directors, what have you. I'm also married to a coach, so I know all of the hard work that it takes for them to make these things happen. I think it's a very easy position for people to criticize. I think it's a very easy position for people to assume that they can do better than, for people to attack the way that they run their program, the way that they do things. And there's nothing wrong with that in most cases. Nobody has ever lost a game the day after it's played. 2020 vision is real. We're all right in what we would have called in any given situation. These guys and girls, these men and women are the ones who have to live with that and trust. But what they do is so much more important than the plays that they call, whether it's on the football field, the volleyball court, the cross-country course, the basketball court, what have you. What they do is they help mold these kids into young men and young women and try and turn them into successful adults, which is what we should all be doing for all student athletes. I think what we've gotten into is, I think there's a culture right now of attacking and trying to say things about coaches in general that really are not fair. These men and women are spending time, they're volunteering their time to help kids and try and make kids better and create, in some cases, the only semblance of a responsible adult that some of these kids will ever get. And for that, they deserve all of the credit in the world, not just one day. You should thank your coaches every day. And just because you don't agree with a play call, or you don't agree with the practice, or you don't agree with this, or you don't agree with that, doesn't mean you necessarily have to attack the coach as a person, because these are people who I believe are spending their time that they could be doing anything else. One of the things that I hold most dearly is my family time. And I know that that time gets taken away as these coaches are taking times away from their family and things that they could be doing to help other kids and help push them forward and help our youth. So before we go out and attack coaches, whether it's in Facebook groups or Instagram comments or YouTube or any of these other areas, remember that these are the men and women that are taking time out of what they could be doing to help your sons and daughters. And for that, they should always be commended. And anytime you have an issue, go directly to them, because in most cases, they're going to listen to you much more than they're going to listen to any open forum or any public shaming that you could possibly do. I want to take this moment to say thank you to all the men and women who are taking time to coach these kids. We appreciate you. And even when you're not doing as well as you think you are, I think you're doing a phenomenal job. My name is Sam Torres, ladies and gentlemen, and this, as always, is for the 440.
This for the 440. This for the 440. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the 440 and that go. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the 440 chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really doubt it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and kinda I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the 440. This for the 440. This for the 440.